Anytime there's talk of a recession, it can create fear among local business owners who react by pulling back their marketing plans. We thought it was important to share with you some companies that doubled down on their marketing during economic uncertainty. They thrived. From the Great Depression to the global pandemic, here is our series, Rise Above the Recession. Before the Great Depression of the 1920s, Post was the top-selling cereal company in the ready-to-eat breakfast cereal industry. But when the Depression began, Post made major cuts to its marketing budget, which turned out to be a huge mistake. Kellogg saw the major opportunity to rise above Post and achieve this by doubling its advertising budget. Kellogg invested in radio ads to promote their new Rice Krispies cereal. The campaign snapped, crackled, and popped the competition. Profits increased by 30%, and Kellogg overtook Post as the industry lead and has been the leader ever since. The 1970s was a time of great change in America and around the world. We had survived Watergate and Vietnam, and nothing quite prepared us for the energy crisis. Years of 1973 to 1975 were plagued by a year-and-a-half-long energy crisis that increased the price of gasoline and tensions with the Middle East. At the time, Toyota was doing exceptionally well in terms of vehicle sales, but when the recession came, they were tempted to make cuts to their marketing budget. Instead, they decided to hone in on long-term marketing plans, which helped them surpass Volkswagen and made Toyota the top imported car maker a year after the recession ended. It's safe to say that Toyota was going places, even back then. After the Reagan years, America elected his vice president, George H.W. Bush. But the healthy economy he inherited would not last long. Yet, in the midst of economic crisis, rival fast food companies saw an opportunity to bring down the golden arches. The weakened economy caused a recession from 1990 to 1991. During the downturn, McDonald's made a costly decision to eliminate its marketing budget. Pizza Hut and Taco Bell saw this as a huge opportunity to promote their food offerings. Pizza Hut innovated and marketed new items such as the stuffed crust. Taco Bell introduced its value meal. By escaping the shadow of the primary fast food giants, Pizza Hut increased their sales by 61% and Taco Bell by 40%. Meanwhile, McDonald's sales dropped by 28%. Needless to say, McDonald's was not loving it. The year was 2008, and the financial collapse on Wall Street was being felt on Main Street. Local businesses would have to get creative to survive. Large companies aren't the only ones that benefited from pushing forward with recession marketing. In 2008, River Pools and Spas was a small-scale retailer with locations in Virginia. After the market crash, they thought they were going to lose their business. Instead, the company reassessed their offerings. The average pool price was about $60,000. They decided to lower prices and offered smaller packages instead. They also focused on fiberglass pools that were cheaper to install. They harnessed the power of the internet and began targeting digital consumers. These moves saved their business by diving into the deep waters of the recession. They are now one of the most nationally recognized pool builders in America. National brands that always felt safe from market downturns couldn't escape the impact of the 2008 crisis. Del Monte is a case in point. Also amid 2008 recession, Del Monte Foods appointed Bill Pierce as the company's first chief marketing officer. His goal was to drive the company forward through effective marketing. He increased the company's ad spend budget to respond to the recession. He rolled out the memorable consumer-based focus campaign known as the Fruits campaign. After a year, the company went from a loss of $10 million to a profit of $58 million. Now that's food for thought. Consumers were tightening their belts in 2008, but one company saw an opportunity. In 2008, consumers all over the U.S. were cutting back on shopping, entertainment, and eating out. Groupon, then a market leader, spotted an opportunity to make non-essential more affordable for everyone. The company sent out daily email discounts on goods and services across 300 markets. It saw a $500 million profit despite the recession. It was game on at Groupon. By the end of 2008, the economy and the job market were both running on fumes, and the auto industry was getting worried. By 2009, the entire auto industry was hurting, and it was uncertain whether they would ever break even. Unemployment was through the roof, and no one was buying cars. In response, Hyundai strengthened its marketing investment with 9 spots in the Super Bowl and the Academy Awards. The company's market share increased from 3.1% to 4.4%. Their competitors in the industry experienced a 22% sales loss, while Hyundai increased sales by 5%. The company was voted the top marketer of the year by Automotive News. It's safe to say that they took home the gold statue that year. 2020 was to be a year of clarity and vision, but that all changed in the 3rd month of the new year. No one saw what was coming next. In March of 2020, the world seemed to stop. As consumers were working from home and masking up when they went out in public, Etsy saw an opportunity. The handmade masks became the hottest item on the web. By the end of 2020, 10% of Etsy's gross merchandise sales, a whopping $600 million, came from masks. But masks were not the only winning product. As people spent more time at home, Etsy benefited from the wider desire to redecorate. By finding a niche for the company within a need in the community, Etsy pivoted its direction. Stock in the company went up 248%. When face-to-face meetings suddenly slammed to a halt, the business world had to pivot. It was not business as usual during the pandemic. Zoom became one of the best software stocks that stole the spotlight from the biggest video conferencing software right at the beginning of the pandemic, where businesses were forced to transition digitally due to the lockdown. By April 2020, Zoom had over 300 million active users, compared to Microsoft Teams' 200 million participants. At the end of the fiscal year of 2020, Zoom had a market cap of $66.5 billion, an increase of 412% compared to the same period in 2019. They went face-to-face with their competition, and they won big. Whether you represent a national brand or local business, these stories offer evidence that staying the course when the course is uncertain can make sure you rise above the recession. A strategy that will pay off for your business for years to come. I'm your digital futurist, Mitch West.